From the best-selling Heroes of History series, Emerald Books presents William Wilberforce, Take Up the Fight by Janet and Geoff Benge. Read for you by Tim Gregory. For information about other titles from this outstanding series that brings history to life, please visit heroesthenandnow.com or call 800-922-2143. Chapter 1. Turmoil. William Wilberforce walked along the river wall behind his house on High Street. He shielded his eyes from the sun and stared down at the muddy Hull River looking for ships flying his family's crest. The black eagle of the crest was distinctive. In the distance, William could spot the flag on ships sailing up the Humber River before they rounded the spit and came up the Hull River. His father had told him that the Wilberforce Company was expecting a ship filled with timber from Norway and iron and tar from Sweden to arrive today from the Baltic region. The day before, William had watched dock workers load bales of Yorkshire wool and bolts of sailcloth into the company warehouse beside the river at the back of the Wilberforce home. Once the cargo had been unloaded from the ship, huge nets were used to hoist a new cargo from the other end of the warehouse onto the ship for the return voyage. William enjoyed most watching the Yorkshire ponies, usually bound for Russia, being loaded. A sling was wrapped around each pony, and one by one, the kicking and wriggling animals were hoisted aboard by a wood-framed crane. No matter how many times William watched a ship sail up the river, dock beside the warehouse, and unload and reload cargo, he never got bored. There was so much to see. Hull was the fourth largest port in England, after London, Bristol, and Liverpool. William's ancestors, the Wilberforces and the Thorntons, had been merchants for over 100 years, and William was sure that his father, Robert, knew all there was to know about trading with Europe. Much of his information came from the captains of ships who often came to the house for dinner. William listened to the business talk as the men ate, but most of all, he loved to hear about shipwrecks and pirates. His sister Sarah, or Sally, as everyone called her, loved to hear these stories too. Sally was a year older than William, and the captains often brought the two of them chocolates from Holland, along with tulips for their mother's garden and port wine for their father. Until a month ago, William had had another sister. 14-year-old Elizabeth had been at boarding school in London when she suddenly fell ill and died. A messenger had arrived at the house with the news, and Robert Wilberforce immediately galloped off to London to escort his daughter's body back to be buried at Holy Trinity Church. William and Sally were dressed in black mourning clothes, black stockings, jacket, and cap for William, and a black matte silk dress, crepe hat, and veil for Sally. William and Sally were expected to stay indoors for days. William's mother never left the house after receiving the news of Elizabeth's death. She was normally the hub of various social gatherings in the community, card evenings, plays, dinner parties, and the other things the upper-class residents of Hull did to entertain themselves. But now, she stayed in her bedroom. William knew that her behavior change was partly due to Elizabeth's death, and partly because she was 8 months pregnant. He hoped that the new baby would be a boy, a little brother for him to play with. Even though the baby would be 9 years younger, William still imagined himself teaching his new brother to play marbles and walk safely along the top of the river wall. Walking along the wall was one of William's favorite pastimes, with the wind blowing through his hair and the sound of the gulls overhead. William could let his imagination run wild. Sometimes he was a cabin boy on his way to France, while at other times he was a burly whaler setting sail for Greenland. On Saturdays, when school was out, William often walked along the wall, past the Pisa's warehouse and the Blades' home, past the shipbuilding
Sample complete. Ready to continue?